Hi everyone, my name is Lindy and welcome back to my channel. I have my July wrap up, all my books that I read this month. I am babysitting my mom's dogs, and so if you see a bunch of dogs, like you see Huck, this is actually my sister's dog. She's at the Ranger game, and if you see a bunch of dogs jumping on me, that's why. I'm not going to tell you how many dogs I have in my house right now because it is crazy. So I had my July wrap up. I read 9 books. Most of them are on my Kindle. I have 3 physical copies, and some I'm going to try to link a picture of. If not, I am going to figure it out somehow. Most of them, like I said, are on my Kindle. You see him? The 3 little puppies over here are playing, and he wants to play so bad. But he's a boxer, and he's big compared to this little dog over here, these little dogs. So, oh, here they come. I'll show you how little. Come here, Minnie. Come here, Minnie. She's a little mini girl. Hi, Minnie. I know, Joy. Hi, Joy. Hi, Tia. Harriet, be nice. Yeah, okay, anyway, back to my wrap up. So, the first book I read on my Kindle is called Lie to Me. It's by Natasha Preston. This was on my Kindle, on Kindle Unlimited. This is my first Natasha Preston book. Um, it is more of like a slow burn, angsty story. I mean, there's a lot of, I was sitting there going, okay, when are they going to hook up? Why can't she just tell him her feelings that she was falling in love with her best friend, but she didn't want to risk it, so it just kind of went on and on and on and on, and finally, somehow they told each other and they ended up falling in love. It was just a really cute love story. It's a young adult, and I highly, highly recommend this story to anybody, even if you like romance or a young adult. It's perfect, and I rated it 4 stars. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. Kent and Savannah are the characters, and I think the characters in this book were really well played. And it was entertaining. It kept me turning the pages or swiping on my Kindle, if you want to call it that. So I really enjoyed it. That was my book number 1. So the next one was Dating Games by T.K. Lee. And this is about a man and a woman. They were been dating for 12 years, and they were kind of rocky. So on her 30th birthday, he decides he was going to break up with her because he blamed it on his work, but she just wasn't very outgoing. She wasn't very, like, in the inn. She's very homey. She dressed like an old woman. She dressed like a librarian. She she kind of reminded me of me a little bit because, like, I'm homey. I wear, skirts and t-shirts, and I don't really dress up. I don't hardly, like, as you can tell, I don't hardly put any makeup on because it's pointless. And that's what she did. So he broke up with her, and it was on her birthday, so she got with her friends and they went to this bar. Well, she ended up getting wasted, and she let the bar know about her whole entire breakup. So there was this man in the back just listening to her, and somehow, it didn't really say at the very top of at the very beginning of the book, but they ended up getting involved that night, and then ended up sleeping together. Well, she wakes up the next morning and she's like, "Oh my gosh, where am I? Who's this stranger? This is not my bed." So she gets dressed and she leaves. So then she goes to work the next day, and she works for, like, this magazine. Well, she writes those articles in the magazines about sex and makeup and all, those little types of columns in the magazines. And there's this sought out escort that nobody knows, but there's no pictures of him, there's not his name, there's nothing. So she's like, you know what? For this promotion, because there's a promotion for an editor, and she really, really wants it after this breakup, but she had to bring a piece that was going to show her that she can do it. And so she's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to find this guy and I'm going to get an interview. Well, come and behold that this man that she slept with ended up being this escort. And so he didn't tell her right off the bat. She kind of found out about it later on. Sorry, I talk with my hands a lot. And it just ended up being a cute, funny story. I laughed, I cried, I swiped the pages, and I loved it. And I want to say, yes, I gave it 4 stars. Now, my 4 and 5 stars are pretty close. 4 means I loved it. 5 means I'm going to own it on my bookshelf, which I do want a copy of this, but it was free on Kindle Limited. I don't know how much it costs on Amazon or anything. But yes, it was a very, very good book. This is a fake dating trope, and I just love the fake dating relationship novels. I just think they're cute and they're fun and just something I've always been into. So yeah, there's that one. So on my next book, I read Untouchable, and I actually have a copy of this. Look how massive this book is. It's almost 500 pages, and I've already done a review on this book, and it has dark romance here, it has dark romance back here, and it has like a little trigger dark romance back here. Now, what I said, and I'm not going to go into full detail about what this is, but I gave it 4 stars. It is very hard to read. It's not for everybody. I don't see anybody at my church reading this, but I love steamy, dark romances. Anything that has to do with a really bad guy, I'm there, and I love it. And I'm probably sitting when I read this, but it makes me have all the feels. So if you're into steamy, dark romances that have some triggers of sexual assault and not really rape, but pretty darn close to rape, then this book is for you. If not, please do not pick this up because it goes into great detail. Harriet? Great detail in this book, but I enjoyed it. Like I said, it took a while to get through it, but once I did, the writing is good. I enjoyed it, so I gave it 4 stars. Okay, the next one, sorry, I'm looking at my notes. The next one is Forbidden by Tabitha Suzuma, sorry. Okay, this book, I've heard so much good things about it. I love, like I said, I like the fake dating, and I love forbidden romances. Now, I read the back of this, and I was like, okay, this could be something I could be interested in. It's about a brother and sister who live together, and they have a hard life. Mom's never around. Dad was a drunk, and Huck, what are you doing? I don't know what he's doing. Yeah, mom's not around, and they had to take care of the kids, and they're hardly having any money, and they go to the school, and it's just stresses are really bad. I get that, but then they started getting sexual with each other. Not really sex, but they start kissing and fondling each other, and I'm not into that. I didn't like it, and this book made it sound like it was okay that they were acting this way, and I'm not okay with that. So I'm really disappointed. I gave this pretty much 1 star, just, I guess, to be nice. I do not recommend this to anybody. I don't feel sorry for the characters, and it just sounded cliche, and I didn't like it. I'm probably going to go donate this to Goodwill or to High Price Books because I don't ever see myself picking this up again. So there's that. Okay, the next one is I read The Help by Callie Rose. It was on my Kindle, and it was a bully romance. Like I said, I actually love bully romances, and this one was just like all over the place. I don't really care for it. I only gave it 1 star. I mean, one day they're talking about in school, and the next day they're talking about tomorrow night. I mean, there's no spaces in between. It was hard for me to catch up, so I just didn't like it. But it was free on Kindle Limited. Can't really complain. So the next one is The Selection by Kiera Cass. I gave it 5 stars. Now, I've had this book on my bookshelf for a long, long time, and I was like, you know what, I'm never going to read this because I thought it was like a fantasy book. And I ended up giving it to Goodwill, excuse me. And so I saw this as one of the most anticipated reads and the most liked reads, so I picked it up, and I read it on Audible when we were traveling a couple weeks ago, I was like, I'm going to listen to this in the car and see if I like it. I ended up loving it. I don't know what took me so long to figure it out. It wasn't a fantasy. I enjoyed it. It's about this girl who comes from a family that's kind of in the poorer section of life. They go by numbers. Like she was a 5, and she was in a selection. It's something called the selection in this like little game where she put in an application to be on this game show. It almost reminded me of The Bachelor or The Bachelor on the ABC. She wanted to get on this show to win the prince's heart to be his bride. Well, she ended up making it, and she had like this boyfriend. His name was Aspen, and he told her to try out because he is like a 7-8, and that's like a maid, like coal worker, not making a whole bunch of money, and he wanted a better life for the main character. And so her name was America, and she's like, okay, well, I'll do it. I don't think I'll make it, but I'll just do it to make you happy. So she ended up making it, and they ended up having like a little fight, and they broke up. And then she ends up going on there, and she was really brokenhearted that her and Aspen were not talking. She didn't know what was going on. She thought that he was seeing someone else, and their families didn't really know that they were dating because I guess 5s don't mix with 7s or 8s, and so they just didn't really tell anybody. So then he becomes like in the Army, Navy Guard kind of thing, and so he becomes a guard for the prince. And she sees him again. Well, she's starting a relationship with the prince, and then it becomes awkward, and then they kind of hook up. Not really like sexual, but they just like hook up, and it's just a cute story. And it ends on a cliffhanger. And I ordered the whole set of books. I just haven't opened them, and I haven't attempted to read the second one yet, but hoping to get to it in my August TBR, so hopefully I can stick to that. So I rated that 5 stars. So the next book was Midnight Blue by L.J. Shen, and oh my gosh, I love L.J. Shen's books. I think she is a great author. I gave it 4 stars. This book is about a rock star who has been in rehab a few times. He's done drugs. He was addicted to cocaine, and he just kept relapsing every single time. So finally, some of his workers or his crew members decided to hire this like not nanny, but he called him a hanny because she was hot and she was kind of a nanny, but she was supposed to follow him everywhere to make sure he doesn't do drugs, he doesn't drink, he doesn't relapse while he's on tour. And she was supposed to travel with him for 3 months, and it was like a slow burn angsty trope again, and I really liked it. He was mean to her, and she would kind of fight back, but she would stick to her guns basically. And they like, it's another love story. They end up falling in love, and she kind of saves him from the man that he was going towards, and it's just a cute story. So I rated it 4 stars. The next one was Cruel Intentions by, I don't know how to say her name, Siobhan Davis. I rated it 5 stars. I just finished reading this book, and I absolutely loved it. It was a bully romance. It dated in high school, and it was great. It had some thriller moments. It had some, it kind of reminded me of Gossip Girl a little bit, if you've seen the Netflix series. It's about these elites. Now, there's like an elite popular group that was already there, and then there's another elite popular group that comes, a group of guys, and they try to take the elite group from this one, and they're fighting back and forth, and then it's just a good love story at the end with some drama, and I love drama books, so I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. And her other book's called Cruel Betrayal, I think. Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure. I'll have to go. Not physically, he verbally abused her over and over. And I just did not care. So this one and this Forbidden one, these are going to get donated. I just don't want them on my bookshelf. So that includes my July wrap-up. That was 9 books. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm so sorry for the mess-ups, but I'll get better eventually. So everyone has a great evening, and I'm going to be starting my August TBR soon, and hopefully I can stick to it. Probably won't happen, but hopefully I can beat 9 books. So hope everyone has a great evening again, and God bless you all. I can't even say the word. He's just crazy. And so he becomes like this different person when they get married. He locks her in the room. He only tells her what he can and she can and can't eat. She would go days without eating, and she has a sister that is Down syndrome, and he used to torment her, and not the sister, but he would torment the wife, saying, I'm going to do this to your wife, and I'm going to do this to your sister. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. And, it just says on the front, the perfect marriage or the perfect life, and it was neither. And I just felt so bad for her. Even though this is a fiction book, I had a really, really hard time reading this. It was just not my cup of tea. Even though he didn't beat her, and he did, but he physically and so I can look. It comes out August 20th, I think, and I can't wait to read it. Cannot wait. And so the last but not least is Behind Closed Doors. I have a copy of this book. Oh gosh, dropping things. This was by B.A. Paris, and I did not like this book. This is my first thriller book, and it just did not do it for me. I gave it 2 stars, 1 to 2 stars. This is about a abusive relationship. Like, this man's he's psychological,